Welcome back to the Daily Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Woods. I'm here with Brandon Rabar, Daily Thunder beat writer. How are you, my man?
Ryan, I feel like we need a little bit more excitement. We're back. We're not just back. We're back to the season, preseason, but still.
Should we redo that? Should we redo that? Maybe we do need to redo. Let's just start again. Let's start. We'll leave all this. We're gonna leave all this in.
Nice. But yeah, let's just rewind it back.
Yeah, let's just try it again. Let's just try it again. Clear his throat, chest out. Welcome back to the Daily Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Woods. I'm here with Daily Thunder beat writer Brandon Rabar. Brandon, we are back.
That was so much better. Now I'm pumped. Now I'm ready to do this podcast.
Let's go.
I was thinking about telling you I had other plans after that first intro, but now I'll stick around.
Brandon, the Thunder season begins right as the Oklahoma football season ends. What incredible timing. What incredible timing.
Yeah. I got to say, it is nice, whether you're an OU fan, an OSU fan, college football, Oklahoma is such a college football state for so long. And not that Oklahomans don't love other sports, but once the Thunder came, it's been nice because the season does start, and the Thunder have traditionally either been really, really good or really exciting because of the future. And it starts right, it seems like, just as your favorite college football team loses. And in college football, you lose one game and you feel like you're out of it. So it really is nice timing, but especially this season, if you're a Sooners fan, after those back-to-back losses. You could say back-to-back losses because losing Jordan Hicks, that defensive lineman, as well. It's been. I mean, I'm a Sooners fan. I'm a Sooners and a Cowboys fan. I support all Oklahoma States now, or all Oklahoma States, all Oklahoma sports teams. But I'm a Sooners fan first. So it's been rough. So yeah, I'm excited to have the Thunder back as a fan.
You're also a Cowboy fan, like a Dallas Cowboy fan as well, right?
Yeah, big. Ever since the Tony Dorsett, Ed Too Tall Jones days. So that's and it's funny because I tell people, I'm not going to get too far into this, into the weeds, but as a Dallas Cowboys fan for the last 25 years, that's when I have takes about the Thunder and I'm like, hey, this is a smart organization. What they're doing is smart. I agree with it. I mean that because I've followed the Dallas Cowboys and I have seen all the dumb decisions that they've made, the front office and things like that. Not that they haven't made some good decisions and some good draft picks and things like that, but I see how one organization that I follow does things and then how the other organization I follow does things. And seriously, what OK's doing is really, really smart because that's what I had to compare it to. Those are my two pro sports teams.
It is quite the disparity.
Yeah.
All right, we had our first preseason game tonight. We've had media day. We've had a lot of player interviews. We've had a Shea injury announcement, all within the last 14 days. So we have quite a bit to talk about. Where would you like to start first?
Yeah, I guess we should start off with the preseason game tonight and then maybe get into the other stuff just because it's fresh.
Yeah.
First, initial thoughts, right out of the gate, as far as there's some standouts. Obviously, Josh Giddey, nearly a triple double in only 25 minutes. He had 14 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, only played 3 quarters, also had 2 steals and a block. But maybe the most, kind of eye-popping stat for Josh was that he was 6 of 11 from the field, so his efficiency was good. But he was also 2 of 2 from 3. Now, that's a small sample size. Obviously, it's 2 shots. But you look over and you see him go to the bench, and who is, right on him? Mm-hmm. Chip England. They are, 2 peas in a pod there on the bench. He is not leaving his side. So it's very apparent and obvious that one of Chip's main goals for this team is Josh Giddey and his jump shot. I think that Sam Presti, just like every other Thunder fan, was like, if this kid just gets a jump shot, he can be a star. So I think that is like priority one for Chip. Now, did you think watching Josh Giddey, and again, this is just 2 shots, could you tell any sort of difference in his form, his shot, his mechanics?
From the angle that we have, no. But I'm assuming that going back and looking at tighter shots of his form, especially from behind, are going to show he's using less of his right thumb. I think they're going to try and get the ball more into his four fingers and less thumb. I think he talked about that a few days ago. But I would imagine that's going to be like job number one. And if that happens, I do think he'll have, I think you'll see some incremental success, some improvement. But 2 of 2 tonight. I tweeted during the game, I'm really excited to credit every made 3 this year by any player on the team to Chip Engelland. Like it's just so much fun. You mentioned Presti noticing like having an urgency to help a point guard shot on this team, and it just rang Russell Westbrook for me. Like what would have happened if that were the case 10 years ago?
Oh, I mean, if Russell Westbrook if he would have been like, let's say a 38% 3-point shooter, let's just wildest imagination and say that Chip Engelland could have like been a miracle worker and made Russ a 38% 3-point shooter. Is he the best player in the league? Like, I mean, honestly, like yeah. He may be. I'm not saying he is or isn't, because you could still argue like defensive lapses and things like that. But I mean, his offense would be unreal if he was shooting, especially if he's still doing the same volume that he shot.
It would be Thanos collecting the stone at the end of Infinity War. Like it would be really, really tough to deal with him. It already was, especially at that point. But it's a fun thing to watch, especially if Oklahoma City is going to be a little less competitive than I think a lot of Thunder fans are hoping. And we'll get more into that, but that's a fun subplot to watch for, is especially with Josh, is the shot. I don't think it's like a terrible motion. I think we should at least say that. I don't think it's terrible to begin with, but for where he needs to go and the fact that he's going to have the ball so much, I do think it's important, especially at his size. If he becomes a decent catch and shoot guy with Shea on the floor, it's a monumental win for them. I think it's really, really good on Presti for what he's doing in that regard. What about Tre Mann? Great game from him.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Thunder's 2 first-round picks from the 2021 draft really, really stood out tonight. And Tre, it's kind of fun because, Mark Daigneault doesn't really hype up his players. Like, he kind of keeps it cool and calm. And I've said this before, but, like Bill Parcells, going back to football, he always talked about not bringing out the anointing oil too early on players. Like, they have a good couple games and people are like, hey, they're not going to the Hall of Fame yet. It's still early. We don't know who they are. So this is still early. But Mark Daigneault doesn't usually, kind of hype his players. And he said that a lot of players had good summers, but Tre Mann had a great summer. And he specifically talked about how good Tre Mann looked, how great his summer was, how he was bigger and stronger. And he is noticeably bigger and stronger. Like, I mean, it's like night and day. So there was some hype about Tre coming into this season, and he had a really underrated season last year. He basically had the Bones Highland season without the hype, going back to the Nuggets matchup. And he was the leading scorer tonight for the Thunder, 17 points, 3 of 6 from 3, 6 of 11 from the field, a couple assists, still a block. I think the added strength is going to help him not only finishing at the rim, but it's going to help him on defense. I think it's helping his confidence, which was probably the biggest thing with Trey anyways. When he's confident and he's hitting, like he just sometimes looks unstoppable. Those couple quarters where he scored 20, 22 points in a quarter last year. I mean, just offensively speaking, I think he is one of the most gifted players in the 2021 draft. And I don't want to hype him up too much, but and I'm going to give Ryan credit here. We do a lot of draft research the last couple of years for the Thunder and looking at upcoming drafts and stuff like that. And you, Ryan, were the first on Tre Mann. You told me, like, hey, what do you think about Tre Mann? And I liked him, but you were like, hey, really look at him. And when I really started to like him more was after you told me to really dig deep into Tre Mann. And I don't know. I think that he passes the eye test, obviously, like a step back. He's so smooth. Like the way that he scores, everything just looks like a highlight.
Mm-hmm.
But the Thunder could potentially have a really nice player in Tre Mann.
Yeah. He's just, I love how fluid he is with the ball, and everything that he does well is what people are after in guards this like in this style of league and in this guard and perimeter driven league. Like everything he does well is just so well suited. And I think it's a big deal that he got, so much stronger because he's going to be able to get by guys, and that was always going to be a thing. He's going to be able to create separation, but him being a screener is going to be important. We just watched the 49ers play Monday Night Football, and like receivers for that team just have to block. You just have to, or you're not going to play. And it feels like this team, whenever it's said and done, like whenever they're playing a version of themselves that is ready to compete, it's going to have guards setting screens, and they're going to have to be good. I don't think, especially with Chet, I don't think Chet's going to be like I don't think this is going out on a limb to say, but I don't expect him to be some elaborate screen setter like we saw with Adams for Russ or Perkins for Russ, like Serge for Russ. These guys that just spring these guards to wide open lanes. I don't think that's going to be the case with Chet. It's not required. It's not a make or break by any means, but I do think it will require these guards, and especially the bigger guards like Shea, Josh, Jalen Williams, like J-Dub. It will require those guys to be more physical in setting screens. And I think Trey bulking is only going to help in that regard. And just as a defender, we saw him get pushed around a little bit last year, and that's fine. Not a big deal right now, but him taking care of that in the weight room is a big deal, I think.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And to be clear, when you told me to look at Tre Mann, this was months before the Thunder ever drafted him. This was early on. So you've been on him early. And I think it's, if we were to do a ranking of Thunder players, like future power rankings, I would probably be pretty high on Tre Mann. I obviously got SGA, Chet, Giddey. I think Mann is right there with Dort and J-Dub. I think that you can make an argument for those three, maybe like Ousmane Dieng and his potential. I might go J-Dub next. I'm really high on him too.
He's next. Well, he was going to be second. He was going to be the third player I brought up, but we'll make him the second player I bring up because, I want to talk about him. But
yeah, I guess that's a good transition.
Yeah,
but I think Tre Mann is right there in that tier with J-Dub and Lou Dort after SGA, Chet, and Giddey. Well, SGA and Chet might be in their own tier, or SGA might be in his own tier. However you want to do it, I don't know. But
Chet might be in his own tier.
He could be. He honestly could be. He really could be. We don't know.
All right, J-Dub is like I want to say he's the coolest player the Thunder have ever had, but Shea exists, so I don't know if we can say that yet. But my goodness, like he's just so cool. He's so cool. I don't know how else to describe him. The way he like carries himself, the way that he plays, everything about him, he's just cool.
Well, again, going back to our draft research, long before the Thunder ever drafted these guys, Jalen Williams absolutely popped as the best interview of all the guys I saw. And I probably saw 50 rookies being interviewed, and Jalen Williams was just so impressive. He was so smart, like you said, carries himself so well, so confidently, but like kind of with this cool. He's this fun mix of high intelligence, but with like a kid's attitude, like kind of like this fun and like he's kind of hard to describe, but he's fun to watch off the court and on the court. I guess he's so smooth on the court, and then he just seems like a cool dude off the court.
The defense, like I remember it was right before the first summer league game. Like obviously we had watched a bunch of him, but then they took the court for the first summer league game, and I just started laughing at how long his arms are. Like just when he's just walking, and it's like uncomfortable how long his arms are. And it's just such an asset on defense. Like it's really, really impressive. I think it was draft night. I asked you and Spencer, like, is he like a backup? Can he play backup point guard? And tonight, and we saw it in summer league, but we saw it again tonight. Like he played on the ball a lot more than I expected. Like I think a year ago I would have like wanted to see Trey Mann like run pick and roll more like on the ball. I don't ever really need to see it again. Like J-Dub is like really, really fun on the ball, and it's not out of the ordinary for this team to have a 6'6" guy with the ball, obviously. So like it doesn't look abnormal, especially in their context, but I'm just such a fan of him on the ball. His ability to make like kind of hook shot passes on like pick and pop and into the lane. Like he's just big and really smart, great vision, and kind of plays at his own pace. It throws a lot of guys off. I really, really like him on the ball.
Yeah, so J-Dub 6'6", but has a 7-foot wingspan. There is one point he and Jokic were under the basket, and he got the rebound.
Yeah,
now,
I know exactly the play you're talking about. Yeah. I thought the same thing.
And this is a guy that can play point guard. Now, obviously, most times Jokic is going to get that, but it's not that crazy because he has a 7-foot wingspan at 6'6", and he's got incredible hops. He had one of the best verticals in the rookie class as well. So kind of unrated athleticism because he moves a little bit slower than really athletic guys.
Yes.
He's fast, but he just moves slower and kind of more methodically. He's another guy that you want the ball in his hands. One of the traits that I saw in the draft analysis was that he is one of the best passers in the draft, but it didn't really get talked about that much because of his shooting and because of his scoring. But he was on ball most of the time at Santa Clara. I mean, he had tonight even, and he had 5 assists, 10 points, 4 of 8 shooting. He led the team in plus minus side at plus 15. Nobody else was in double digits. Now he had some, kind of garbage. It's funny talking about preseason garbage time minutes, but they were kind of, that last quarter. But still, he looks the part, and he's looked the part in college. He looked the part over the summer at the combine. He looked the part in summer league, and now he looks the part in preseason. He looks like a guy that's ready for the NBA day one. And I think a lot of that has to do with not only his skill, but his high IQ, his maturity, just the way he's, the Thunder have a new prototype. Is absolutely true. And you see it with SGA. You see it with Josh Giddey. You see it with Jalen Williams, with Ousmane Dieng. They're these big, jumbo, large size guard slash wings who can handle, who can pass, play with a high IQ. And it's so funny because the Thunder for so long had Russell Westbrook, who was just like this. I mean, he was so fast. He was so furious. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to go like Vin Diesel there.
You did.
Those are just like the first two adjectives I thought of with Russ. But, and now the Thunder's point guards, they're all kind of they're these slower, more methodical, smoother guys. And I'm not saying one's better than the other. It's just such a difference now from what it used to be.
F19, so fast, so furious. Yeah, he did have 5 turnovers tonight. With the 5 assists, that's a 1-to-1 turnover to assist turnover ratio. If you're keeping track, I want to get to Ousmane Dieng because he looks like he grows every time, like more every time I see him. It looks like he's gotten taller. I'm obviously like the stats aren't like that impressive. He went 1 for 6 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, but he hits the 1-3, and I'm like, there's our guy. Every time he does anything, I'm like, that's him. That's him right there. I love the way that they're using him. Love the people that they have him out there with. And a shout out to JRE really quick for just kind of facilitating all these young guys to have success. He reminds me of like a hospice nurse whose only job is to make someone comfortable. Like he's just out there making everything easy for other people and for people that are like seeing this for the first time. Out there with a lot of young guys, playing with rookies, playing with second-year guys. He's a second-year guy himself, but he looks like he's been out there for a decade, and he's just out there helping facilitate good stuff for young guys trying to get their feet wet. So shout out to our super young grandpa, JRE.
Yeah, he's just kind of that perfect glue guy, and I think that's why, I don't know long term that he's going to be a starter on this Thunder team as they add more and more kind of blue chip talent. But I think on this year's edition of the Thunder team, especially with Chet Holmgren out, I think that he's going to be a starter, and I think he deserves to be for all the reasons you said. He really is just kind of like in that Nick Collison / Kenrich Williams mold where he just does everything right, and he does a lot of things well. He's not necessarily great at any one thing, but he's good at everything, and he's always going to make the right play. And you need those kind of. He can defend, he can rebound, he can shoot, he can do all. He's not like elite at any of those things. He's going to make the right pass, but he's good at all these things. And I think that long term he'll not be a nice role playing bench piece for the next Thunder playoff team. That would be my guess. But he's when you get a guy like that in the second round, obviously the Thunder were really high on him because they traded 2 second-rounders to move up 2 spots to get him because they were worried that somebody was going to take him before him. So you see why. If you can get a guy like that in the second round, that's a huge win.
Speaking of second-rounders, Aaron Wiggins 4 of 4 from 3. Every time it leaves his hand, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's going in. I texted you during the game. I don't know if he could miss if he tried. It just looks automatic. I feel like a lot of Wiggins conversations this year are going to be framed around Bazley because I think Wiggins could start to creep in on some Bazley minutes, especially if Bazley doesn't get off to a good start early. What did you think about Bazley not starting?
I think it was because he's going to end up being off the bench this season, and they want him to kind of remain in that role, would be my guess. Like, he started for a couple seasons, and then they benched him in the middle of last season, and he played better as a bench player, and some players just do. I think he was better in that role. And so I think that, just kind of off the bat, they want him to focus on that role, being a bench piece, being a bench defender, being a bench rebounder, blocking some shots, and then just, probably emphasizing going to the rim on offense would be my guess. He's bulked up. He and Trey Mann, night and day from last season when you look at them physically. So I think that'll do him good for the type of game that he's going to play. I would guess a lot less threes this season. That will help with his efficiency. But yeah, I would think that's why he didn't start tonight. And if you use that as kind of a clue to who the starters are going to be when healthy with Chet Holmgren out, obviously I think that we both know for a fact SGA, Lou Dort, Josh Giddey are 3 starters. I think we would both say JRE is kind of a close to a lock as a starter with Chet out, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And so the last one, you can make an argument for Baisley. Obviously, Poku started tonight. I think Mike Muscala, even though he was a bench piece last year, if you want to imitate what Chet Holmgren is going to bring and put a vet on the in the starting lineup, I think that Muscala makes a lot of sense. He and JRE can both be kind of 4/5s, and it would help space the floor. But yeah, I think that Baze is going to end up being a role playing bench player this year.
Do you think I would add Kenrich Williams to that list of potential 5th starter? I was kind of surprised. I guess not surprised, but the Favors trade. I don't know why. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I thought Favors was going to play. I thought he, like, with Chet going down, I was like, well, I guess Favors will start. And now, I mean, JRE at the 5, Poku. I mean, Poku was listed as the starting center tonight. But I could see it being JRE at the 5 and Kenrich at the 4. That would be really small. I don't think they would mind necessarily, but yeah, I could see any of those guys being that 5th starter.
Yeah, as far as Derek Favors goes, I think it just comes down to why give him minutes. He's not going to be here long term. This would have been his last season. It would just be giving a vet minutes to give him minutes. They're not going to be able to flip him for anything really of value, whether he plays or not, more than likely. And it's just taking minutes away from either a young big that you want to give those minutes to, or you're taking them away from the only other vets would be Mike Muscala or possibly Kenrich Williams. And both of those guys might be around for a few more years with this team. So I think that's all it comes down to. Like why give those minutes to Favors when you have so many guys to develop? And so, yeah, I like the idea of Kenny Hustle. It would be small, but it makes sense. He plays physical enough. You can play him at the 3 or 4 and then play Josh Giddey at the 3 or 4 defensively, and Josh can take kind of the easier assignment of the 3 and 4 defensively. But going back to Aaron Wiggins, I'm glad you brought him up. 2nd leading scorer tonight, 2nd best plus minus on the team, 4-4 from 3, 15 points. He just looks the part. Again, does everything well, plays really smart, plays really hard. And that 3-point shot, now this is Summer League and 1 preseason game, but his shot, I mean, the sample size as it becomes bigger and bigger, and he already had a solid rookie season. There are not 54 better players from the 2021 draft. Now, he only shot 30.4% from 3 last year. So that being said, in Summer League and so far this preseason, I mean, still a small sample size, but if it continues to grow and he continues to hit shots and his defense is already solid, I think he's a guy that most Thunder fans and followers didn't necessarily think was going to get minutes. But if he keeps this up, I don't know how he doesn't get minutes. Like, how can you not give the guy minutes? I just don't know at what expense they're going to, come from.
Do you recall the Singler over Morrow hashtag when everybody was freaking out over why Singler would come off the bench before Anthony Morrow?
Yeah, I don't remember the hashtag, but I remember the movement.
It feels like a Baisley over Wiggins hashtag is gonna brew this season. It's a bummer. I chalk it up to a bummer. The entire Darius Baisley experience it bums me out. His first instinct is to stop. His first instinct when he catches the ball is to stop. And he's typically catching the ball in motion. He freezes. He freezes the entire action. It bums me out. I don't know what else to say. It bums me out. I wish he would make quick decisions. He processes things slower than I've seen a player in a long time.
I think that the Thunder, like going back to him playing off the bench, and the Thunder have so many ball handlers now. You know, there for a while, Bass had the ball in his hands because the Thunder had a lack of ball handlers, or, you know, guys were hurt or whatever it is. But now you have SJ Giddey. The ball is going to be in their hands most of the times. When it's not, it's going to be in J-Dubs or Trey Mans. That's five guys. Oh, no, four. But in my head, I was thinking Lou Dort would be next as far as handling the ball. So that's five guys and a lot of minutes. And then you can make an argument Poku will handle it. Something like, I think Baisley, the ball's just not going to be in his hands to be making those kind of decisions. I think he's going to be more of a kind of an off-ball player, kind of cut to the rim type of guy, putbacks, that type of thing. I think that, you know, his role going forward will just be more of a defender. Like, I think the emphasis is going to be high on defense and rebounding and just shooting at the rim. So I would imagine that they will try to take those things out of Darius Baisley's game.
But that it just seems like that's what he catches the ball as if it's now his time to make multiple reads. It's confusing to me. I would love for him to be like incredible. I'm just kind of bummed out. Do you want him playing over Jang this year? Like, I would just rather see Jang like get all of those minutes. I don't feel like we're waiting to see anything else from Baisley. Like, what are we waiting on?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm all in on the young guys, and obviously Baisley is still young, but the lottery picks, the rookies, the second-year players, getting as many minutes as possible. Like, you know, I know that there's kind of this debate whether Ousmane Dieng will play more of his minutes with the Thunder or in the G League. I think it's going to end up being both. They did that with a lot of guys the last couple of years, and they want to get them as many development minutes as possible. But I'm all for giving Dieng, you know, if the overriding theory, and one that I believe for a few years now, is that next year, the 2023/2024 season is the season that the Thunder, you know, are going to try to make the playoffs again and be a good team again. This is kind of your last year for, you know, pure development. I mean, development will continue every season, especially with the young team. But as far as like full on, you know, we don't care about wins or losses. I'm all about giving a guy like Ousmane Dieng with sky high potential more minutes than Darius Baisley, who we have, you know, a pretty large sample size on at this point.
Yeah, we're good. You know, we're good. We're good on that. We've seen it. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked at all if he moved on to another team and like contributed, like was good. I don't think he's a bad player.
Well, I'm not.
It's just such a weird fit.
I'm not ready to throw in the towel on Darius Baisley, though, either, because I do think that he is a good defender. I do think that he is a good rebounder, and I do think that he's a good shot blocker. I think that he has 3 NBA skills, and I guess you could argue that shot blocking and defense is the same thing, but I think just overall defense, he's a good, versatile player. And I think that shot blocking, he's a good player, like in that one skill. And I think that, you know, rebounding, he's been a good rebounder. So he's got NBA skills. You know, I think if he focuses on those things, he can find himself a career, whether it's with the Thunder or somebody else, as an NBA player. Those kind of guys are important, but, you know, at reduced minutes and a reduced role and reduced shots.
We should mention Lindy Waters, just can't miss either. Chip England probably won't have a single conversation with Lindy Waters or Aaron Wiggins or Jalen Williams. Like they can go and shoot on the other end by themselves. Like just absolute dead eye guys that I don't like. It's interesting. Like Wiggins and Waters might not get minutes. I would say Waters probably won't get minutes at all. But two guys that are absolute dead eye shooters, and we probably won't see much of them at all.
The Thunder have so many guys now that like would have been really helpful a few years ago, whether it be with the KD and Russ teams or and anytime, guys get extended minutes, they're going to show some stuff and they're going to flash and things like that. But truly, the back of the bench now, like you feel pretty good about they're young and things like that. But like you said, Lindy Waters has an NBA. He's a legit 3-point shooter. And a guy like that would have been really nice coming off the bench. Especially for like the Russ PG teams or even just like Russ's MVP season, man, that would have helped him out so much having a guy like Lindy Waters or Aaron Wiggins coming off the bench. So I think that the Thunder, obviously the most important thing is top end talent. That's what wins you championships. That's what gets you in contention, makes you the playoffs, and the Thunder has some of that with SGA and probably Chet Holmgren and hopefully Josh Giddey. But they definitely have some guys now that I think at the very least are good role-playing like bench pieces that are important for playoff teams as well. Like they're kind of loaded with them. There's lots of guys that you feel good about on this team when they see the floor.
We've played one preseason game. It was on the road, divisional opponent, won by double digits. I have to ask, is this team too good to tank?
The thing is, there's a lot of teams that should be better this year. All right. So the Lakers should be better, obviously. The Blazers going to be better with a healthy Dame. So just looking at the West alone, the Rockets should be better. I think the Thunder are still better than the Rockets, personally. But some of those teams, like even the Kings, should be better now, having a full year of Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, and they're going to try to get better.
Rookie of the year, Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray, yes. So with the Thunder not having Chet, the only teams I can say for sure are going to be worse than the Thunder this year in the West are going to be the Spurs and the Jazz. They're going to be worse than the Thunder. And SGA is just so good and so talented that there's kind of this baseline that like how bad you can be, like as far as tanking goes. And we've seen that the last couple of years. Josh Giddey, I think that we both believe in, and he's going to be, a good, helpful, winning player. Luke Dort, Kenrich Williams, Mike Muscala when he plays. Then if, a couple of these guys like J-Dub, Trey Mann either make a leap or look really good in their rookie year, you do start to wonder. Plus, the way that this team buys in on defense and the high effort and feeling like anybody can come in off the bench, whether it be Lindy Waters or Aaron Wiggins or Trey Mann, and hit a few threes in a row, you do start to wonder, is Victor Wembanyama, a realistic goal? But again, it's young talent. Historically, young talent has trouble winning in the NBA. Chet Holmgren is out, and the West should be much improved besides the Jazz and the Spurs.
So you saying
that was such a fence riding answer, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
The Jazz and Spurs, I'm with you. So are you not putting the Rockets with that group, or are they kind of like a toss up?
I think the Thunder are better than the Rockets. I can't say for sure, like without, let's say that Jalen Green makes a second year leap. Let's say Şengün plays better this year. Let's say that Jabari Smith Jr. is really good. There's a timeline. Say what?
It's feasible.
It's feasible. And let's say the Thunder has some injuries. Let's say, hopefully not. We've seen too much of that already. But they're already down Chet. If I don't want to name names because I don't want to say injuries and names, but if some key players were missing for some time, yeah, I mean, the Rockets could be better. But I think fully healthy, meaning basically SGA and Gideon Dort, I think that the Thunder is still better than the Rockets. But yeah, it's feasible the Rockets could be better.
What's your feeling on Shea?
He's really, really good. He should have been an all-star 2 years ago over Mike Conley and arguably some other guys. He's an all-star talent.
That should be proof to anyone that Brandon just has the chamber loaded at all times. What are your feelings about Shea and the injury in his return?
I think he's going to be fine. Like he said himself, he's fine. Presti said he's fine. Mark Daignault said he's fine. It's just basically time to heal. Will he be ready by opening night? I'm guessing not, because they have reason to be cautious.
Mm-hmm.
Chet's already missing the season, and there is no reason to rush him back. I'll say that. And I think Shea feels like there's no reason to rush him back. So when he's fully 100% healthy and feels 100% good, he'll be back, whether that's opening night or game 3, 4, or 5. He's not going to miss that many games. If he misses any games, I'd be shocked if he missed more than, 2, 3, 4 games.
Did you go hit Lou Dort in the head at practice today?
No, there's no reason for Lou Dort to because it's a concussion. He'll be back by opening night anyway. So that his concussion is
I hear he's
completely separate from the Wembanyama sweepstakes.
I hear he's suiting up for the Dolphins this weekend.
Oh man, I will say, I admitted to being a Dallas Cowboys fan at the beginning, and how we, they don't always make the best front office decisions. But I can say I don't think the Cowboys would have ever done that. I'd like to think.
Well, Jerry's hoping for a little controversy.
Jerry Jones?
Yeah. Yeah.
The QB controversy. Okay, I got you. I know. Okay, so case in point, the Thunder have notoriously tight-lipped front office, which I think is smart. And then the Dallas Cowboys, my other favorite pro sports team, has a notoriously loose-lipped front office. And Jerry Jones, I know what he meant, but he still shouldn't have said it. He meant that would mean that Cooper Rush has won a bunch of games. So, yeah, let's have a controversy, because that means that we're winning. But, of course, you just don't say those things, because this is 2022, and the media and social media does not care about context. So.
Imagine Sam Presti holding his own, back hallway press conference after every game.
Right. And saying things like, yeah, I hope that there's a point guard controversy.
It's like he already talks so he doesn't he have a weekly radio appearance in Dallas?
Yeah, he does. I know he's on the fan radio morning show every week. Imagine, I think he does something else as well.
Imagine Presti speaking after every game, away from an official setting, just wherever he decides to stop walking. And then also going on the Sports Animal every single week. What a wild thing that would be, especially knowing Presti. It's so funny to think about.
First of all, Ryan, I'm affiliated with the franchise. So,
that's a good point by you. That's oversight on my part. I'll do better.
I'm totally just kidding. both are totally cool. I know the guys at the Sports Animal too. It just would never happen. I'm telling you, as somebody who's followed the Dallas Cowboys my entire life and the Oklahoma City their entire existence. I mean, it just couldn't be more night and day. And, the Thunder have some critics because of that. I mean, especially nationally, there's some talking heads who don't like the fact that they're notoriously tight-lipped and that Sam Presti doesn't have these, weekly press conferences, and that we don't know everything about the team and things like that. But I personally feel like it's a smart thing, the way they're running the show.
We were robbed of some years of KD popping off, especially
Right. Yeah.
especially on Twitter, man.
Oh man, can you imagine like KD Oklahoma City Thunder Twitter like back in the day, like unfiltered?
It's hard to even
Oh my
imagine like that version of Durant saying the things, like saying stuff on, or just like randomly responding to people like that. Like uh it feels like a whole different world.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, it does. Like it's Katie now and Katie and OKC do seem like two different people off the court. On the court, he's still, he was an MVP then. He's an MVP level player now. It's actually really impressive how he's been able to, after, these serious injuries, been able to come back and still play at the level he's played at. But man, yeah, it's he's I never would have guessed back then, like the backpack days. Remember when he like brought a
Yeah.
backpack
Yeah.
to press conferences, and the whole like Katie is not nice ad campaign that
Yeah.
Nike did, because that was so like ironic and like, haha, like Katie is like the nicest guy there is. So it's funny to have this campaign that Katie's not nice. Yeah, just seems like a different lifetime ago.
Simpler times,
Yeah.
simpler times. All right. Anything else from like media day that stuck out to you? Any of Sam's comments? It was more of the
Yeah, I
same,
mean,
right? It was more like, it was to be expected from Sam. I felt like.
yeah, it was it was kind of what was expected. I would say if anything, he seemed excited about this team. He seemed, excited about the young players and the improvements that they made. Just like the general overall feel and vibe that I got from Sam Presti was just that, look, everybody wants to talk about whether Thunder are tanking or not tanking. And he said this at his exit interview last year, and he said it at the beginning of this preseason interview. It's like, hey, these guys will determine what we do. And if these guys are competing, as long as they're competing and playing competitive basketball, that's what's going to happen. And, if it goes away from that, then we'll, do the developmental thing. And that's kind of the plan. I guess the biggest thing is like he's stayed consistent. Like the plan has been the plan. The plan continues to be the plan. I think that drafting Chet didn't change that plan. I think that Chet getting hurt didn't change that plan. I think it's always been what it is. And that's why I still circle the 2023-2024 year. And I think that that's when, we'll see maybe some changes in how the plan is. The plan's going to stay the same, but I think we'll see like the plan going into effect, and you'll see those changes then.
All right, good stuff, man. We will wrap it here. Some housekeeping notes going forward. We will be releasing a new episode every Tuesday morning / Monday late night for the Night Owls. But Tuesday morning release every week throughout the season. Be watching for Daily Thunder, the Daily Thunder Twitter account. We'll be hosting some Twitter Spaces along the way as news breaks, and we get some eventful games. We'll jump on and talk to you guys after the games, and obviously we'll hit some trade deadline episodes and All-Star game, all those benchmark episodes you'll get in addition. But we will be a once a week Tuesday podcast, so be on the lookout for that. As always, thank you so much for listening. And Brandon, it's gonna be a fun season, man.
It is. I'm excited about this season. I'm excited about the players. I'm excited about SGA and Giddey and that combo, and seeing the work that all these rookies are putting in. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun this season. So stick around.
Last housekeeping note: it will be Brandon and I through the end of football season, and look for the return of one Spencer Davis after football season. We'll be running a 3-man weave of sorts from there till the end of the the NBA season. So thank you so much again for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
Hey Hoopheads, we appreciate you listening to this episode of Daily Thunder. Be sure to check out other NBA pods on the Hoopheads Podcast Network, including Cavalier Central, Nuck If You Buck, 305 Culture, Spanning the Spurs, #Lakers, Motor City Hoops, X's and O's NBA Breakdown, LA Hoops, The Wizards Hoops Analyst, At the Buzzer, and Lakers Fast Break. There are also coaching-focused podcasts, Thrive with Trevor Huffman, Beyond the Ball, the CoachesMaze.com podcast, Players Court, Bleachers and Boards, The Green Light, and Courtside Culture. Oh, and don't forget the network's flagship, the Hoopheads podcast, hosted by Mike Klinzing and Jason Sunkel, and featuring the best minds in the game from its grassroots to the NBA.